Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for the Walking Dead universe and another video for The Ones Who Live in regards to Andrew Lincoln. We have a new interview to go through from him from the upcoming in the UK. He has made some comments on the idea of Rick returning to the franchise at one point, and he says, and I quote, "Never say never." Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for the Walking Dead universe and another video for The Ones Who Live and the Walking Dead universe in general. We have a new interview with Andrew Lincoln. Man, it's good to see these. I love seeing these because we don't get them too often, but when we do get them, it's like a freaking event or something, you know? But he was interviewed by a few people. I saw a few different interviews from him recently because The Ones Who Live is now out in the UK. So people in the UK are now interviewing him and you know, asking him questions. And I watched one of them in particular from The Upcoming, I think it was called. And I'll leave a link down below for you guys to go ahead and check it out. It's really good. It's basically like him. He goes over the show and he talks about Ones Who Live in general and what it was like, you know, returning to the character of Rick. And in that, of course, we saw him kind of describe what it was like to work on it. He told some interesting stories. One of them in particular that I found kind of funny was him talking about how there was one day where he was on set. Apparently this was, I think, for episode 1, where he was in the culling facility outfit and he had to continue to put like water on his head to, you know, represent sweat and stuff like that. And he was sitting on the top of a truck, and apparently he was sitting there and it started to snow out there in New Jersey because they were filming it out in the winter. And apparently he sat there on the top of this truck and he was like, holy frig, you know, like he was like, man, this sucks, like, you know. So it wasn't a welcoming return for him, it sounds like, but he enjoyed doing it for the fans. He was glad to come back and do it, and he said that the only way that he would return to Rick's character is if the story was good enough, and he thought that The Ones Who Live was good enough. And yes, I would agree. You know, I think a lot of us would agree that, you know, despite the conclusion of the CRM, The Ones Who Live is a fantastic show. That's one thing I'll always say. Despite the hatred I may have towards the way the CRM concluded, The Ones Who Live is a fantastic series with a lot of really good writing, and he produced and he, you know, did, of course, a lot of work on it himself, behind the camera and in front of the camera, so obviously there is that as well. But now the big thing he mentioned. She asked him, which I was very glad she did because it's the elephant in the room, would you ever consider returning to the character of Rick ever again post Ones Who Live? And he made it pretty simple. He said, if there's the right story, never say never, you know? So they're leaving it up in the air, which is why I will always tell people that want to abandon The Walking Dead. I'm not gonna. How can you abandon The Walking Dead? You know, you got Andrew Lincoln sitting here saying like, oh, well, you know, we could do something, you know. So at least until he tells us no, you know, I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna watch Walking Dead no matter what. You know, but yeah, no, like anybody that has no faith that Rick could return at one point, I think Andrew Lincoln just clarified that he would love to do other stuff. It's just the matter of when, it's the matter of the right story, stuff like that, you know. And as long as it stays like that, I think that's good because it's a lot better than what it was, you know, a good few years ago when he wanted to leave Walking Dead and kind of just leave that whole thing behind, you know. You can tell he has a newfound love for it. He wants to, you know, do more with it and play Rick maybe potentially again down the line in, let's say, a couple more years or something. You know, who knows, right? Maybe 2026, 2027, we get some other kind of, you know, new Rick thing and we don't have any idea about it at all right now. You know, you never know. So, I guess the best way I'll put it is that I think that Rick, in terms of returning to the franchise and Andrew Lincoln saying never say never, is something that I think is really big because it gives us hope for this franchise, which is something that we've been needing. It's not much, but it's something. And I appreciate that Andrew Lincoln said that. I appreciate that he didn't say like, oh yeah, I'll never do it, you know, because there are reunions with Rick that need to happen. And I've said it many times, Daryl and Morgan in particular. We got to see those reunions. We got to see that, you know, reunion happen. They've been set up many times. And, you know, I think it would be very kind of nasty of them not to do it at this rate, you know. So I'm glad Andrew Lincoln said that he would be down to do it if the story was right. And at that point, it really just means that, you know, somebody has to cook up a good story for him in order to, you know, get a yes out of him, which is understandable, you know. I mean, he's done this for almost 15 years, you know. It makes sense that he wouldn't just say yes to any story, you know. It would have to be the right story. It would have to be the right script, and I completely understand that. And, well, finally, he also mentioned that, and this is just a side note, he mentioned that he's working on a new British comedy that he's going to be releasing at some point soon. He's currently working on that right now. So, you guys know me. I'll probably review that because, I love Andrew Lincoln. I love his acting, and, I love what he does. Yeah, really cool stuff. So, it gives us hope, Walking Dead fans. It really does. It gives us hope. I hope this means something good for the future of Rick Grimes and that there is a future for his character. I think that'd be really cool to see more stuff from him, of course, if it makes sense to, of course. But, yeah, let me know. So anyway, guys, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click to subscribe and tune up to any of the videos of The Walking Dead. Make sure to follow me at Dan's The Walking Dead Reviews on Instagram, guys. And, of course, I'll see you guys very soon for more videos of The Walking Dead universe. Enjoy the rest of the day, guys, and peace out.